Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Truth or Dare. So Truth or Dare follows the story of a group of lifelong friends that all are in their last year of college, and they all decided they want to go down to Mexico for their spring break in order to have some fun and, live the last fun part of their, young lives. So, and while they're down there, they do end up following this one mysterious guy that the main character meets at a bar, and they start playing a game of Truth or Dare. And then what they realize during the game is that the game is actually more sinister than they thought. And when they get home, they start seeing visions of people asking them Truth or Dare. And this is actually a hard plot to describe, because just saying it sounds wrong. I think that what I can very easily say about Truth or Dare is that it has the worst synopsis or plot of any movie I've ever heard of. This is such a terrible idea. Having a movie that revolves around an evil game of Truth or Dare, and building characters around that, and building an actual story and reasoning, but of course it doesn't help that you got a terrible director and a terrible writer. I wasn't excited going into Truth or Dare at all. I was expecting a pretty bad movie, and that's exactly what I got. This movie is terrible. It's really awful. And the thing is, considering the fact that it had this plot, the idea of choosing a game or Truth or Dare, it's not the worst way that this movie could have turned out. I think that there's a way worse version of this movie out there, one that could easily be one of the best worst movies of all time, or just generally one of the worst movies of all time. And I think that this movie does hold some competency, mostly in its acting. Its acting isn't terrible, which does make it occasionally watchable. It's not like it's great or anything, but it's not like Bye Bye Man level bad. So at least it's watchable in that respect, but everything else in this movie is terrible. I really can't talk about this movie the way I want to without getting into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for this movie, then you can leave the review. My score is a 3 out of 10, so you have that. So that will be the end of it for people who do not want spoilers, but if you don't care about it or you've already seen the movie, just listen on. It was really the later part of this movie that I found really terrible. It's when the Truth or Dare scenarios got worse and worse and worse, where it got to the point that the one woman in the movie, I forgot her name, but she sees her dead dad on a phone screen, or while sleeping with somebody, there's a woman who puts a guy in a chokehold and says Truth or Dare, and he answers a truth. It's all just really, really dumb, honestly. Just this movie is really laughable because of just how dumb the plot is, but it's really in the last 15 minutes or so, because what happens is that they set up this huge, unnecessarily elaborate plan in order to try to end the game of Truth or Dare, where they need to find the guy who originated it, who was the guy who took the original group of people in the room to play Truth or Dare, and they need to cut out his tongue after he says 7 rituals, put it in a bowl, and offer it to the temple or something. It's so dumb. It's really just a dumb horror movie thing that's overly complicated. But what gets terrible is the last part of the movie, where there's a guy who is asked Truth or Dare by somebody, and he picks Dare for some reason, because the thing is, before the rule in the movie is that there's 2 truths and 1 dare, and they had already gone through with 2 truths and 1 dare, so he easily could have chosen truth. Somebody had just picked a dare. He could easily have chosen truth, because the thing is, his excuse for choosing dare is that the 2 other women would have to choose dare eventually, but they're literally about to end the game, and the turns aren't instant. They aren't oh, that's 1 turn, okay, time to go to the next person. There's time in between them, which is also another really dumb part of the movie, how time just fluctuates and moves, and it doesn't really stay still. It's really dumb. Or time in terms of when the choosing the Truth or Dare is. But what's terrible is that his dare is to kill one of the other women. It's his girlfriend and the other person, and he has a knife in his hand, and because he won't go through with it, he has to kill himself. But the thing is, there's two women holding him down so that he won't kill himself. But then he gets up from them and he's about to stab himself, but then the one guy who's supposed to cut out his tongue stops his hand, and then he kills that guy and then himself. But I don't know why he would be killing that guy if he was not involved in the dare. The guy is only supposed to kill himself. And you could say, oh, well, the other guy was holding him back. But then why would he not kill the other two women then and then kill himself? It was really dumb. So then, because he killed the guy, apparently they can't offer the tongue. I thought that the only rule was that that the guy was supposed to say his mantras and then cut out his tongue and they were supposed to offer it. I didn't think that there was any rule that the one guy had to put his tongue in. And then there's another truth or dare asked between the two women that are left. She says pick dare intentionally, and she I don't know why she does, and she acts like she's gonna do something smart with it, and she really doesn't, and it really just feels like the filmmakers made this up as they went along. And then at the end, this is by far the worst part of the movie, the woman makes a video that she uploads to Facebook and YouTube, basically just online, where she's getting the rest of the world to participate in the game of Truth or Dare. So she literally just killed everybody in the entire world. No, it's not even a joke. She literally just made it so that over the course of the next few years, eventually everybody will die. There's no way of stopping the game now. They literally, if the two women would have died, the game was over. But she literally sacrificed the entirety of the world for her friend and for herself, which is the dumbest decision I've seen made in a movie in so long. That is the worst ending I could possibly think of. If the movie just would have ended with the guy cutting out his tongue, maybe the one dare goes through and the one guy has to kill himself and it's tragic because of that, but he cuts out the tongue and then the two friends are together, and the whole point of the movie was that they were friends forever and that they remained friends after that, then you'd have something to go off of and maybe this movie wouldn't be so bad. But the fact that the ending just feels so thrown together and dumb made it so much worse. So that was my rant for Truth or Dare. I did not expect that to be a rant, but it was. This movie was really terrible. I think that the first hour of this movie isn't great, obviously. The smiles and the whole idea of Truth or Dare is terrible. But the last 15 minutes really make this movie terrible. Really awful. And again, the movie has some competence in its acting, and there are a few scenes that are just okay, which made me feel like the movie maybe was a little better than I should give it credit for. But as of right now, I will give Truth or Dare a 3 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Truth or Dare. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what's the dumbest movie ending you've ever seen? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.